On the first full day of U.S. President Barack Obama's 8-day visit to sub-Saharan Africa, his efforts to focus attention on American trade and investment opportunities could be dwarfed by health concerns over the former South African President Nelson Mandela. The American head of state is expected to arrive in South Africa later today, and CCTV's Carol Loyola has a preview of the issues at hand.
My thoughts and prayers are with Nelson Mandela's family. Those were the words of U.S. President Barack Obama while he was visiting Senegal. There was speculation that Obama would delay or skip his stop in South Africa if Mandela were to die in order to avoid creating a distraction or logistical problems for the government. Claims Obama dismissed. At a joint press conference with Senegalese President Macky Sall, both leaders had nothing but well wishes for ailing Mandela.
I think he's a hero for the world, and if and when he passes from this place, one thing I think we'll all know is that his legacy is one that will linger on throughout the ages.
I think he was an example for the entire world, in particular us, the political leaders. We should be inspired by his humility and his capability to sacrifice, and also his greatness, and to forgive, as he was a model of forgiveness.
Meanwhile, President Sall thanked Obama for beginning his three-nation trip to Africa in Senegal. Obama hailed Senegal for its tradition of democracy.
The citizens that I met with today who stood up for democracy, the young girls that Michelle met today who are busy shaping this nation, just incredible young women, because Senegal recognizes the value of women's leadership.
During his visit, Obama and his family visited the historic Gorée Island. The island is a slave port where Africans were shipped to North America as slaves. Obama's father was from Kenya and his mother was from Kansas. First Lady Michelle Obama is a descendant of slaves.
I think more than anything what it reminds us of is that we have to remain vigilant when it comes to the defense of people's human rights, because I'm a firm believer that humanity is fundamentally good, but it's only good when good people stand up for what's right.
The tour is Obama's first extended journey to the continent. He will spend 8 days in sub-Saharan Africa. After Senegal and South Africa, his last stop will be in Tanzania. Carol Oyola, CCTV.
Right now, the American president is in the Senegalese capital, Dakar, where he started his tour of Africa. The 8-day event, as we mentioned earlier, will see Barack Obama also visit South Africa and Tanzania, in a move regarded by some analysts as an effort to restore ties with the region. CCTV's Desiree Canon has this report.
Air Force One touched down in the Senegalese capital of Dakar on Wednesday evening. President Obama is currently on a 2-day visit in Senegal with First Lady Michelle Obama and daughters Malia and Sasha. Senegalese people expect a lot from this visit.
We need America to invest a lot in Africa, and especially in Senegal. We need direct foreign investment in the car industry, fishing industry, and many more. This will give job opportunities to our young people. Poverty is not good for man. This matters for us. We also need security, and the situation developing in Mali should be addressed.
In the press conference he gave, President Obama focused on reinforcing the importance that the United States places on their deep and growing ties with countries in sub-Saharan Africa, including through expanding economic growth, investment and trade, strengthening democratic institutions, and investing in the next generation of African leaders. The visit of Obama to Senegal presents a challenge for his administration, as many observers still remain skeptical about their engagement of sub-Saharan Africa. A lot of Africa watchers complain that the Obama's administration has not paid enough attention to sub-Saharan Africa. His administration took almost 3 years to appoint an assistant administrator of the U.S. Agency of International Development for Africa. When Mali's government called out for help to subdue Islamist extremists who had overrun the northern part of the country, the Obama administration demurred. Other observers say the continent's own security efforts need to be strengthened through the African Union. Desiree Canon, CCTV, Dakar, Senegal.
Now, the American president, as we mentioned earlier, is due in South Africa later today for the second leg of his three-nation African tour. He's due to meet President Jacob Zuma, and his schedule also includes visits to Soweto and Robben Island. But President Barack Obama's visit has been overshadowed by concerns over the health of Nelson Mandela. And ahead of his arrival, protesters have also been gathering to march on the American embassy in Pretoria. For the details, here's CCTV's Angelo Coppola.
It seems that the demonstrators that are demonstrating against President Obama's visit are small in number. They're quite vociferous. We don't know if this is going to get any bigger. We do know that they feel very strongly about a range of issues. It's a couple of blocks away from where the President, Nelson Mandela, is in hospital. It's unlikely that they'll stop off there because the police will probably keep them on this route, which is a block off their hospital route. I'm Angelo Coppola for CCTV in Pretoria.
Time for first break here on Africa Live. Here's what's coming up next. A nation in prayer. South Africa's hold overnight vigils in prayer for Mandela. And cracking the whip. Libya's defense minister has been given the sack in the wake of recent clashes in Tripoli.
We follow the latest trends in global politics, economics, culture and sport, and how Africa fits into the global picture. You decide what's important.
We need fair trade and justice.
Africa's future will be determined by Africa.
For women's equal opportunity, for a better life.
We have to change something, and it's not the outsiders.
Talk Africa, a new voice for the world.
Welcome back. South Africans are awaiting news on whether Nelson Mandela can sustain his recovery. The 94-year-old icon has been in a hospital in Pretoria for almost 3 weeks now and has been in a critical condition for most of that time. But on Thursday, the presidency said his condition had improved and stabilized. Now, overnight, there was a vigil outside Mandela's former home in Soweto, and South Africans from all walks of life, quite literally, are finding unity at his hospital. With the latest details, here's CCTV's Angelo Coppola.
When we arrived at the hospital this morning, the media were present, but not that many people. The situation changed within an hour as fathers brought their kids and their neighbours' kids. Families came from far and wide, and business people took time off to wish Madiba well.
We're here to pledge our support to the Madiba family, the former state president. We say to them, we are with them during this difficult time.
We want to make sure that he stays. We wish him the best, and we hope that he doesn't die so soon.
The impact that the former president has had on the lives of most South Africans is permanent. Many millions of South Africans haven't had the pleasure of meeting the man, but those that have a cherished memory of the time spent with him.
Well, anybody that lives in South Africa that's not here, actually, the emotion that goes through my mind and, you know, what he did for this country is just amazing.
There are many people who simply wanted to do something for their community. In one instance, a shop owner bussed in 95 children from a school and orphanage in a township 25 kilometers away to come and pray for Madiba. This is the spirit of Mandela, who called on citizens to work in the communities to improve their lives.
We want to pray for him that he really becomes well, that he recovers speedily, and that he sees his 95th birthday on the 18th of July.
The outpouring of emotion here at the Pretoria Heart Hospital is quite unbelievable. Everybody is coming around to pay their respects, and the kids, the parents, the adults, we've spoken to a couple of people, and everybody feels the same way. They're choked up and they don't know what's going to happen. I'm Angelo Coppola for CCTV in Pretoria.
Well, for all the latest updates and analysis on Nelson Mandela's health, we're now joined live by CCTV's Guy Henderson in Pretoria, South Africa. Guy, what's the latest update from the South African presidency?
Well, the very latest seems to be a very rapid move of people past me towards one of the main entrances to the Pretoria Mediclinic Heart Hospital, which suggests that there may be a high-profile visit of some sort. I'll give you more on that in the next live, because I'm not actually able to see it from here. Just a few hours now till US President Barack Obama flies from Senegal and lands in South Africa. No official update, though, on Mr. Mandela's health ahead of his arrival. The last official update we had was this unexpected news, really, on Thursday from the South African presidency, saying that, well, President Zuma said that he looked much better when he saw him after visiting him yet again in hospital. There have, of course, been these, with every gap in information, these swirl of rumours do circulate around the outside of this hospital, most of which do end up being unfounded. So at the moment we're sticking to that official line. He does appear to be getting better. In just a quick look at some of the morning papers today, one of the things that's dominating is an interview given by Mr. Mandela's eldest daughter, Makaziwe Mandela. Now, in a TV interview there with the state broadcaster, she's really laid into some of the media coverage when it comes to Mr. Mandela's health. She described the media as vultures. She even went as far as to say that there were racist elements in some of the foreign media coverage, and that it was only, she said, because South Africa was an African country that journalists weren't affording the family the same privacy and respect as they would with other high-profile families. Then just one other newspaper article here in the Star newspaper, which just a bit of a political spat here in Tshwane district, which is the municipality within which Pretoria resides. Apparently, according to the Star newspaper, the mayor of this district didn't invite the main opposition party to come and hold a vigil for Nelson Mandela. So those are the things that are dominating the headlines today, given that there's been no official information. Other things that people are still worrying about are, of course, the fact that, yes, he might be much better, but by the looks of things, from what his daughter was saying in this interview yesterday, he is still only semi-responsive. She said his eyes are fluttering when they talk to him, and that he does respond when they touch, so presumably not fully conscious. So people are asking questions about what quality of life there must be for him in there now, and at 94, with a recurrence of pneumonia and still in a critical condition, to what extent he'll be able to recover.
Indeed, of the comments there from Makaziwe Mandela about media coverage so far, and of course on the shot where we are seeing right now, quite a few crowds still outside the hospital in Pretoria. What's the general mood like today at that location?
Well, the backdrop actually looks a little empty now, simply because everyone's run round the corner to see which high-profile person may have arrived. But already we've had a few hundred people turning up here, and it stretches right down to the bottom of the hill and back up the other side. The police have completely blocked off the roadway. One of the nice things we saw this morning was the Tshwane district, Tshwane Gospel Choir, who arrived carrying white balloons. Amazing singing. Just, you know, paying tribute to Mr. Mandela, and then releasing those balloons. A similar thing happened yesterday, and releasing those balloons up into the blue sky. So quite magnificent pictures, quite magnificent images. It tends to fill up through the course of the day, so I'm sure we'll have many hundreds more. And as I finish this live, we've got more people turning up with banners and quotes from Nelson Mandela as well. So it's quite a celebratory atmosphere here. Obviously somber, obviously people are worried, but also just appreciating a great life and some fantastic achievements by a great leader.
Indeed. We'll have to leave it there for the time being, though. Fantastic shots right there. Thank you very much for your time, Guy Henderson in Pretoria. We'll be keeping tabs on developments in that end of the continent for you right here and give you an update at 1700 GMT. Now, the fellow struggle hero Frank Chikane says that it's time South Africans let Mandela go. He made those comments while speaking at a church service held earlier in Soweto, just south of Johannesburg. With the details, here's CCTV's Famida Miller.
Just as this church service at the Grace Bible Church in Soweto began, word came that Nelson Mandela's condition had improved. But church leaders here say South Africans must accept the time is drawing near.
We pray for the family that they be strong, and go through this moment with the support of the nation, the world, and everybody who cares about them. And I think we should accept that, in fact, Madiba has done his part.
Reverend Frank Chikane was a key figure in the struggle for South Africa's liberation and later a key figure in the presidency of Mandela's successor, Thabo Mbeki.
God is delaying the hour, the final hour, so that we can get ourselves in order. Those who were not able to reconcile, to do so. Our divisions, it's time now to say we have learned from a great man.
And his views are shared by many here. A time for sadness then, but also time to reflect on a remarkable life.
Let's move on to North Africa now, where the Libyan Prime Minister Ali Zaidan has sacked his defense minister. That happened on Thursday. This came after 3 days of gun battles in the capital amid a deteriorating security situation. Now, in a news conference, Ali Zaidan said he had sacked Mohammed al-Baghrathi after different militias working for the defense and the interior ministries fought in Tripoli. Security officials say at least 10 people were killed, dozens more injured in those clashes. Zaidan described the clashes as a suicidal scene, and he said militias will be forced out of Tripoli. Nearly 2 years after Muammar Gaddafi's ouster, successive governments have depended on militias of this sort to maintain security.
Congress members requested the resignation of the defense minister, and he tendered his resignation. Then Congress asked him to remain in his post for a short time. But now his resignation has taken place.